each other on Kafe recently. That was the Stage 3 game they played. 7-2 victory back down for Wolves. But, as mentioned before, there's new operators, or a new operator on the field. And that might change things
I
up a
really
little bit.
don't want Solus to be banned.
I want Solus to be
I
played.
want to see some play. I want to be Tret to a Christmas treat.
That past tense of treating.
I want to be Tret to a treat. I want a little treat. Twitch be removed.
The bans are not default so
No,
far.
this is far from default. I would go as far as to describe this as funky.
Yeah, I always want to be a bit careful with using the word funky, you know, until we have all 4 bans in.
Yeah, it has the chance. It's worth sort of considering. Obviously, there's prize pool and there's bragging rights.
Okay, we're doing well so far.
Come on. Everybody hush. Everybody shut up. Shut up, everybody.
Quiet. Wolves, are you going to be deal breaker?
Wolves, be cool.
The Grinch.
Wolves, be cool. Be cool, guys.
Oh, yes!
Yeah, all right.
Possibly. I mean, they still need to pick it.
They still might.
Who knows?
They're laughing. They knew. Okay, this is a band selection I don't think...
No, this is definitely funky.
This you've never seen. I would go as far as to say these 4 operators banned like this never happened before in a Tier 1 game.
No Solace, by the way, so far. There's also no repicks for defense.
Yeah.
So,
There's
no Solace round 1.
No Solus round 1?
It's not being played yet.
Turn it off. Cancel the stream.
Cancel the stream.
Cancel the
Game
day.
is over.
All right. No, this is the sort of thing. And if you're trying to break down, Wamai being I would say is maybe the most standard ban in terms of
Yes, it's the most common
removal
one.
here. You've got the play around sort of pixel corner. You've got what turns into a lot of backline holds. If you're sort of holding down in library, you'll still set yourself and stack up towards the top and sort of try and wait and bait as much time as possible. Maestro, the Alder, can be used very well if I'm going to flip instantly over to the other side and think, there are positions, the bubbles as well. It's not that he's been the biggest detriment, but he usually sits in a pocket in a situation for a lot of teams between utilizing either him or Echo, where they sort of hands off a little bit. Valk, we're going to see that a lot. We're going to see that a lot from P4. But,
I mean, Maestro's one of those operators that doesn't often get banned, but is always still on the board.
Yeah,
he's always
exactly.
able to do a lot. So, it is still good to see a bit of a change in those bans coming through. The thing is, though, we have Azami and Valkyrie open. Both of them were being highlighted as a potential second ban if Solace would be removed. Now both are in the field. This turn takes a small amount of damage. That's the first grenade to be popped, but an ADS will be denying that.
yeah, there it is. As I said, it's sort of holding on. That grenade bounced over the top, gets that first bit of solid. The C4 means they can't quite swing onto that. There's the fight, though, on the back rise. He's able to do a lot of damage towards Tyrant, who's trying to hold onto this window as best as possible. Another keeper barrier goes up, and that's a lot dedicated, and nobody has been caught out from it as of yet. The damage being done from the top hatch. P4 has the cover onto Solotov. Gets taken off, and there's Rise with the other window. Goes for the hop out. There's one more. Caught out at the end of it. This Claymore was just able to find the tail end. They did pick out P4. They got the 2 bodies that were inside for all the pressure that they put onto it, but it does just leave Usus and Neo.
And they're left with 3 EE1Ds, but also a double frag grenade on users. That's what they have to work with here. The first one is to be tossed in, but taken out by an ADS. Now, they should know that's going to be clear because they've spotted out some other ADSs earlier. Still trying to find out where these players are going to be located. He's on this drone. He's spotting out the one on the balcony first, gets the spot out, but still 2 players unknown for that they need to isolate first because they cannot just rush in.
A minute now, ticking away, and Usus is going for a bit of a spread onto the other side. There's the call on the reveal. They know the pressure's coming across here, and they've sort of diversified it. Puts them in a bit of a tricky situation, but Neo gifted a Mowgli retreating back in, tried to pull away from Usus on the swing through, puts us into the 2 versus 2. The pings are there. Bibu is well aware of the position of the player, and they're either side of the new Balk, but they have 50 seconds. Who's going to try and take the momentum on the first swing? The rotation's coming round on the back. Shinka, he might be able to get a surprise strike here. He goes a bit too high. There's a C4 to reveal the prize. Caught out. Great bit of play. User suddenly all alone on the far end. No kid in pocket, no grenades either. They have the awareness. The Valcam's giving all the game away on the location. There it is. But with one to his left and one to his right, he's in the middle of a French pain sandwich, and well, he's got to do something supernatural here to try and get it out. There's the first. There's the second users.
Whiff shots coming through from the MK14, allowing him to choose his battles wisely. Gets that 1v2 clutch. Round 1, MNM. They win that one. And instantly we go back into a small little break right here. The moment to come back to rest, because that was a very stressful round for MNM.
That was a very stressful round.
I mean, it started off with piano.
Round. It started off with a really aggressive piano.
With a lot of kills coming down there. 5 in total, really, from just that one spot in the windows. And after that, you know, Wolves, they had the advantage, but they kind of gifted it towards MNM. Mowgli sneaking around the bar that has been opened up fully. Just allow them to see through. Don't know if it's a lack of information or some miscommunication, but MNM, they perfectly utilized it. And also, this first couple of shots coming in from the MK14, them missing. He's like, okay, that's one of Freezer. The other one is coming from Cigar. I can go for the Cigar person first because, well, otherwise it would have been dead by now. So well done. As the replays come through. Get to see it all over again. Yeah, P4 just died from Hibana. Upside down repelled as Rise jumped down, and of course the Claymore afterwards.
Sounds very weird in the slow mo, the Claymore.
It does.
Like, oh my god, you just got so low as well.
It was just a single shot of either of those two players would have done it.
It was a very engaging first round.
It was.
It was a very explosive first round. There was... I mean, I feel like today, you know, obviously the big prize is SI.
Yes,
a couple months away.
Sadly, this doesn't provide you anything towards the
It doesn't.
It is just a nice Phoenix trophy we have at the end.
It's that little dab of T1 Siege before we have a holiday for a month. Doing anything nice for it?
Personally, just gonna go over to the families, you know,
Oh.
some nice holidays, have some good food.
Delicious.
Not quite sure yet what I'm gonna do the entirety of January. I mean, my birthday comes up then.
Yeah.
So
you could, I guess, celebrate that. My birthday's in like a week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I share the same birthday
Celebrate
with
that
Milosh.
as well. Yeah, you do. Like, it's a funny story, actually. Milosh, last year, he was like, it's my birthday today. And then a day later, he's like, it's actually today. He's got his own birthday mix.
He's like the Queen. He celebrates 2 birthdays.
Yeah.
But he's done it badly and put them right next to each other. We'll be back into the game in a moment. Apologies for this, everybody. We're just making sure that everything is all peachy, smoothed out. I hope you're all enjoying the holiday festive season back at home, however you celebrate it, if at all. And if not, well, you're probably going to be disappointed by how our set is dressed today. Very holiday.
It's very
theme.
Holiday.
There's also a gnome. Jacob, if you're listening, if you're watching, that's a gift from Medics and Easy.
I think for next year we should up it a bit, like putting actual snow inside as well.
I don't know if they would appreciate that with the amount of electronics.
It's just
There's lights in the floor.
I know.
That are Christmas themed. They're candy cane themed.
Yeah, they are. Red and green.
Yeah, those are the colors. Famous.
What about fake snow falling like...
Maybe. If you're listening, Ubisoft.
Just trying to... Yeah.
Anyway.
Love snow. There is the gnome.
There's the gnome.
You've all been gnomed.
Get the gnome. Yeah, that's dedicated to everybody out there, but specifically...
Jacob.
From production.
Yeah.
Not Caliber Jacob, I don't...
No.
He can be
Not
gnomed as well there if he wants.
Probably has been.
Happy holidays. Anyway, obviously, the winner of this best of 3 goes on to tomorrow.
Gets to the grand finals.
Yeah, the grand finals. And later on today, BDS, reigning major champions.
Had a rough start of the year.
Had a rough start of the year.
Had to make some changes for first time in forever. And instantly found success. It's funny that, like, we've had it with Rogue Stage 2 with Spoit coming into the roster, instantly winning the major. Now Ligafac joining the roster, instantly winning the major. So I'm
2
wondering
for 2
if,
on rookie swing.
yeah, I wonder if we're going to have any teams, you know, pick someone up like a rookie for the 6th Invitational just to secure the title. I hear some sound in the background.
I hear some background sound.
And that makes me believe that we are getting back into the game very soon.
Do you believe?
I do believe, yes.
Da, 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 da. I can't... I don't know what...
Solis!
Solis! All right. Locked in as well.
Not locked, but...
Well, there's a tick there.
There's a tick there. It means they're waiting in the screen. Now it's going to be locked.
We're going to follow Solis.
Yeah, we're going to see the engaging gameplay.
We're going to see some engaging gameplay. If you do not know what Solis does...
We go first person? Yes.
This. They have the ability to track electronics. Boy, howdy, are they going to get tracked. Uses his drone caught outside. They're going to make sure that none of them are able to slip their way through, get themselves prepped up and stepped. And it sort of says with drones, it's like, well, we can't even just sit them inside. Look at this. They have to wait. They have to be a distance away, and they have to try and drive them in because it's a ground floor site as well. If you're able to maybe slink your way up 2 flights of stairs, okay, you'll be out of that detection range. 1 floor above, they can still see you. They'll still be able to get that based on the distance, I believe, on Kafe. It's just within.
The range on Solis is insane. Compared to Pulse, for example, which is off.
So look at this.
Yeah, she's
There's no way that they can get them inside the building. They have to sit and wait outside. My God, that's scary. A big part of it. It used to be something that Prime GT said is if we lose like 1 or 2 of our drones during the droning phase in terms of getting in position, we've lost the droning phase. We've lost that. Solis means that you can't even play that game anymore.
And even when you get into the round, all he has to do with Solis P4 is just activate it, scan around, do a little 360. No active droning going on right now. You can go back to whatever you're doing. And especially like being a roamer like that, he knows exactly when it's going to be spotted unless there's a Jackal on the board, which is what Tyrant is bringing right now. So there's definitely going to be some pings, and I think that it's going to be quite useful. Phone there spotted as well, so aware of someone being out there on the eastern side. Before just lining himself up for any jump outs.
That's it, because you also get the awareness of who is droning. You'll see anybody utilizing their electronics. There's some funky interactions with people like Lion as well at the minute when they're activating that gadget, and I guess this is the split, though. They know that Hibana was sitting around here. Hibana's able to win out the fight. Rise gets put back down on brown stairs, and they've rotated themselves back towards the site. They went all in on the hunt there. They made sure that they had all the lockdown off. They sort of said, you have 1 clean route out, and that's white, and if you don't take it now, then we're going to come and fight you. They took it, but here's also a very cool thing. Look at that under Rise's name.
Yeah, it says whose camera he is watching, so because there's multiple bulletproof opportunities to bring, it says it's the Bibu camera he was watching. Now he's watching one of P4. You see that swap over there as well.
We saw where the P4 one was deployed. Not the
we saw that.
intense information, unless you remember who placed it. But it's cool.
It is a little bit of an extra that we usually did not have. So, as we go back to what's actually happening, a lot of opening, a lot of explosives, a lot of shotgun shells going through, hoping to find an extra opening, and they find exactly that. Shinka taken down. See, there's some Excaliburs going off right there as well. So P4 deciding that it's time for him to try and see if he can get back up top and do something about these clearers up on the top floor.
Able to check that there's sort of no one watching an active drone there on the rotation. You have to actively hold it off, and here there's another bit of reveal. That drone's going to try and wear its way around, and again he knows exactly where it's placed. There's the fight through the scrap of the metal, but with 30 seconds and a 2-body advantage, they've got to make a move. Solotov, he's able to get one more. There's the fight above. P4, he's trying to bite his way back in. There's one more player, so he's going to maybe rotate up once more as Hibana goes for the plant under the quick cover. They're back down. The pings are coming through. There's the hot reveal. There's the watch. It's a rotate round. The first fight is Solotov's to win out. And with Bibu blinded outside the site itself, they know where he is. He's under intense pressure. It's an MNM round.
Well done by MNM there. I think they realized the issue quickly, found out Solis is on the board, kept their drones outside, made sure they had that Jackal, which they then used to, of course, get rid of Solis, or at least send her back downstairs, so they don't really have to worry about it anymore. Still saw a bit of a flank on the back of the utility she brings, but it wasn't round defining in the end. MNM managed to take enough ground, managed to actually get that diffuser down without any real trouble. So, well done by them, and that makes them lead 2-0 here in Kafe. Back up to the top 4 now. Wolves wanting to play that one out. Seeing the Valkyrie on the board, Mowgli playing it. Mira now as well, to see if that may be giving them a little bit of extra security later on in the round, because, you know, they won the initial phase near Piano, but after that, when the site was being attacked, they did not really have anything left in pocket to secure themselves. Found themselves being picked up one by one by the remaining players of MNM. So the Mira might be providing some extra stability, also making sure you hold off towards the Piano that way. Just long lines of sight that need to be dealt with from outside by MNM.
There was a bit of a false start for Solace. We did see her do some cool Solace things.
Yeah, we saw the gadget in action.
We saw the gadget in action.
Just haven't seen the big impact it could have.
Yeah, they got a kill. Okay. Enough about that. Back to the top. And this started explosive. It started with a huge amount of heat around the position the Azami was locked in. There is obviously a change there, and they're not going to set up such an aggressive hold there as well. They've pulled back. The Valk is now in different pockets and different hands. They've got themselves set up around Pixel with what is the traditional hold here. There's the mute jammer to stop a Flores drone getting maybe a bit too close if that was the play employed. There's also the stop and the chance with any of those throwables. They're going to see if they can swing back into it and clips the wing of Solotov, who can take these fights, and they're feeling it today, but they need a little bit more support, I think, first.
Oh, beautiful shot, taking him off. That's one last window to worry about, at least for now, because there is a second player ready to repel next to it. Nello, I believe it is, just hanging next to it. Yeah, just waiting for some support. Probably wants to be opening up from red towards Piano to get themselves an extra way in. But Mowgli's blocking that for now. They know that it's not going to be quite safe to use those windows, get rid of any other piece of utility. Flashbangs coming through. They're hoping to waste the ADSs. They're done just that. But now they need to get rid of the shield, and I don't think they can.
They've got, obviously, Tyrant just playing on the back end, maybe hoping they're getting a catch. The ADS has popped back into life, though. And at this point, if you're just watching and waiting for that rotate, well, look who's sitting at the top of white. Shinka. They have the support in case Tyrant decides to get a little bit edgy, and they've got a C4 ripped and ready to go. They want to clip that just on the inside of the window frame. It's a bit of a hold, and all of it is around Pixel position that they cannot clear from the front end. As you said, they used so much utility, but they did not have that last little bit of the drive behind it. So it's turned into this. A bit of a Mexican standoff, waiting for the first person to make a move, and who feels lucky? Punk. Tyrant is sitting so quietly up on that rappel there. Doesn't want to give away any noise. But drones are coming in the reading room here. That should be the spotted out. Jaeger uses right next to it to reply. Finds the kill as well. Brings it back to a 4-on-4. Now has the opportunity to go for some grenades from below as Tyrant takes out that C4. Doesn't get picked up by it, but it is enough to force him off that rappel. It did get the rotate through from the side here of Wolves. They've pulled themselves back in. Mowgli's on the back end of site. They've handed it over, and with 30 seconds, they're sort of saying, let's build this back line. They haven't cleared anything else. The Sledge, he's going to see if he can try and do some damage from underneath. Tyrant's going to see if he can maybe rotate up towards the fight onto Shinko, who's holding close. You can't move too quick in these engagements as a mirror, so you got to make sure the connection comes through and the vector can be accurate. That grenade just slips out of the way after getting the kill. 15 seconds. Nello, he's dug in on the site, but he wants a little bit more. Does not see the position of the player out on the chassis. Neo's all that's left, not for long. Wolves take a round back. Well done by Wolves, and again here a lot of pressure from them onto the initial Piano, and you saw that MNM wanted to take it, but that first initial kill from Mowgli from that shield, just taking a clean head off, it just removes a lot of that pressure suddenly, because you basically have nothing in return. They try to get rid of the shield, but not really having the utility to do so. It is quite difficult for MNM to break through at that point. And that just removes a whole lot of the actual upstairs area that you would have available to yourselves. Suddenly all you can do is just push him from Cigar. You can push him from the white stairs. That's the two safe areas they managed to create for themselves. And that's just not going to be enough. So Wolves, they found their first defensive round. You can see who's watching who's drone as well. So we know Tyrant has lost his drone at this point. Well, I mean, technically you can also get off your drone. Yeah, but there's 4-0. Now there's 3-0. Who else lost their drone? Is that P4 doing it? It must be, because he's playing Solace. Yeah, so Users and Tyrant lost their drones. It's such a... It's so not important, this detail, but it's a detail that the people who like it are like, oh.
5 seconds remaining.
Oh, I know who's lost their drone now.
Can see that. So, of course, you can just wait until the action phase to see the little axes as well. But yeah. P4 again with the Solace on a bit of a roamy roll, is a bit detached from the site. But that's of course due to the fact that the gadget Solus brings easily allows it to basically take care of yourself. You can find out if you're being droned in. You can find out if anybody is close to you like that. I also found that as soon as you pick up the gadget into your hand, you're already being able to be spotted. So, for example, a fuse that will place it down on the ground, you can already double impact it before it's even down on the ground. So, it offers a lot of opportunity for the player on the Solus.
Caution paid towards the potential jump out aggression. But as caution is being paid, Solus is the one that's more than happy to try and pay it a bit of mind back towards it. That drone, well, you don't need fancy specs to see that, and unfortunately couldn't quite get the connection on the kill. They just pulled themselves back. It's a bit of a force of movement, but they keep the utility for now. The rest of the pressure's coming here across the top. As we said, it's sort of a backline bastion hold. You try and force as much time and utility drive here towards the back end as possible, and that's what Solotov is seeing if he can break across. The bulletproof will get removed on the opposite swing round, but there's this one still on the back end, being a bit of a troublemaker towards those drones.
Didn't actually get the bulletproof there with the Ash charge, so it's still up and has an opportunity to fire EMPs down. So instead, a grenade will be used from Yana now, tossed around the corner. We'll finally get it as the final EMP pulse came down, but that is just that top floor. They still need to descend one. C4 to be tossed up, small amounts of damage done to Neo. It's turned out he's making some ground. It's headed over towards the white stairs to get away users, hoping to make sure the top floor is going to be cleared. As P4 gets picked up, that's the Solus gone. Drones now can safely, well, travel around the map again without being spotted out that early.
Oh, Mowgli takes the head and the cap off of Neo, brings it back to a 4 versus 4, a minute on, and they've been able to try and drive some of the control here over the top. They haven't entirely fished him out. Bibu is the last to sort of set himself up in this position. They're going to try and get some of the stretch, and they've obviously got the X-Kairos prepped and ready to make that a tricky situation, but they have to make sure that they can move behind it. And that is exactly what the preparation is here underneath. Buried pushback. Bibu drops out, and Solotov drops one with Mowgli once again finding a quick response. Solotov round on the back with Nello, and suddenly it's only Bibu left. He took the first rotate, finds himself on the wrong side of Fireplace, but if he can creep up and get one more catch here, suddenly he might have a chance at a bit of a surprise. They are still holding on, and the kit does still need to make its way towards the site to get a plant off at this moment in time. The first drop, the first fight is Nello's. And MNM, they are able to get one more round back on their end.
Just making sure that they maintain their lead. They were able to build up right after the rehost. As we head to round 5, MNM truly showing that last time's Kafe, which was won by Wolves quite handily, it's just, I'm going to say it, fluke.
Hey, that's me.
Yeah, that is you. Sadly, doesn't work with my name.
12 euros?
Oh, I
per usage. Yeah, I've copyrighted it. In the break since the last time we were here between you, I've copyrighted some things.
Oh.
There's a selection of words if you say them. I also copyrighted words that other people say. So now if Des and Tim say laser gates or shut down, that's I've copyrighted that. I thought I would take the initiative.
You're just going to be making loads of bank like that, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I'm going to donate it all to Tim's charity walk.
That's very kind of you.
Yeah, well, it's Christmas.
Festive spirits.
Ho, ho, ho.
Round 5. Solus that is being played by P4. Okay, I'm just going to say it. I don't think it has been that impactful yet.
No, it hasn't.
There's been maybe 2-3 drones who've been shot out on the back of the Solus so far. Might have just added an extra one to that. And yes, P4 is getting a lot of information about what's happening around it, but maybe he's been looking at it himself too much, being a bit too distracted by it, because he hasn't been winning gunfights on the back of it. He's been isolated quite often with that Solus, not really being able to do the impact that he wanted to go for. So, I mean, it's still early. It's still the first game that we're seeing Solus being played in Tier 1 here, so, you know, it is early days.
Sensor on.
Requires something. This, okay, I'm just going to say, is C4 out of the skylight now? That would have been absolutely grand.
Sensor active.
Knew someone was out there droning. So maybe you need to pair up with someone.
Maybe. I think that could be a bit of a difference maker, and I think if you're talking about pairing up with someone to put the drive, that's sort of what MNM have done to shut it down. The use of the Jackal alongside what was, in the previous rounds, the majority of MNM,
Yeah.
Backed that Jackal, made sure they had some support and some swing round. You can see it now as the pressure comes across one side towards that actual bar. You've got the Jackal pushing the opposite. You've still got drones whirring out from the far end. They've got themselves in pillars too. They're making sure that there's no route out. And they can't take it, and they have to drop back. Solis cannot take those fights entirely by themselves. They need to get themselves back to side. It's clever here from MNM to sort of realize the danger Solis could pose, and instead of risking anything else, going, let's get her off the board to a position where we know where she is, and then we don't have to worry.
I mean, Jackal is like the perfect counter to Solis as well, right? It's like, he can't get drones in, we'll just get footsteps instead. We'll still get the live ping on that operator. So, again, very smart usage here from MNM. And, you know, Jackal often banned in ranked games, less so in of course, professional games. That allows for this kind of play to come through right now, as Users very busy with opening up P4. It's going to be exposed quite a bit. Needs to stay put right behind his reinforced wall, but soon that starts opening up as well. Soon above him, there's going to be holes created as well that Users can use against them. Is that a drop? Oh, it's Gemini. Okay, I was going to say.
Yep.
It's very quick.
Gemini goes through. They're going to see if they can try and catch the close position player. And P4 takes a lot of damage, but Mowgli's able to pick up Neo on the far end. I think he's sort of hoping he can double down, but with that, the reveal of the player, the second, might come through not far afterwards. In fact, they take the drop. They're going to swing. The player's rotated around the opposite end. P4 does get caught out by Users just in time. They do not have control of Cocktail. Rise is still in that position, trying to throw smokes out, but with the one blocking his view, he cannot quite act. They have this. A backline, a bit of a rotation as they're going for the plants. They know how close that player is. No, Mowgli gets one, gets dropped in the trade out. 15 seconds, though. That grenade's going to roll off. Solitov, he gets an important take. Tyrant, maybe one that's a little bit more. They've got the kit, the tucked round in the corner. They've got to find the cover. Shinka just has to get this. The man
no
that's going for the plant, he finds it out. He's looking for the next. Shinka, he tucks himself down. What a round!
What was the cover? There was one man planting, one all the way in the back and one up top, but the entrances not covered. That is the moment you want to be horizontal. That is the moment when you want to be able to take those gunfights head on. Especially after he's given away his position earlier on. So Wolves able to get away with that. Beautifully played, but MNM, they should have been able to lock that one out and make this 4-1. So the bottom floor, the bakery goes to Wolves. Meaning one more round as we currently stand, back up to the top floor. You see it, like, they already knew Shinka was pushing at this moment.
He didn't... I don't think at the time he realized how free that was. He takes the scrap of damage. There was somebody watching from above that wasn't watching the most important time, which was when he made the cross. He was gifted that.
Yana ran past. At that moment, shots were being fired at Yana, so you should have been aware that someone was, you know, at that part of the bakery. Now, that could be miscommunication. That might have just been not realized at all, something like along those lines, but the cover just not on point. And I get it, Yana needed to go for a plant because there was only 5 seconds left, and you kind of want to do that as soon as you possibly can in that matter. But planting when there's no cover, that is potentially what could have cost him there. Maybe you could have waited an extra second or two and see if you could have taken the fight, but if you then die, the diffuser drops on the ground and, well, you lose either way. So well done by Wolves. And let's see if MNM is going to be able to find themselves an extra round.
God, that really is that MNM thing, innit? When a round that should have been theirs ends up not being a quick take with the Ossa. And Ossa's quickly taken, but they did get at least one kill out of it. I think they went for something. It's a bit of a cheeky gambit there and didn't quite pay off. Quick reactions. Neo off the board first here. They put the pressure there onto White. They're going to pull themselves back. The eyes towards that player positioned onto the opposite side of the mirror window on the top deck. Nello is creeping his way underneath, pre-placing. The Ossa being caught out mid sort of shield rotation might be the cause here, but Solitov, he's going to be cause for concern. Does not win the fight, Mowgli. Just enough awareness to get that locked in there over the opposite side of Piano. P4's got a backline. MNM, they're finding themselves stalling a little bit here on this. The approach round, the prep of the grenades, the flashes onto the back of Rise. Roll over. And Rise rolls down.
3-3, MNM managing to stay in this round. P4 still upstairs, though. Afraid of any potential push to coming from the east. windows. Bibu below has the opportunity to shut down one of those repels, but there's going to be multiple options MNM could opt for. And one of them is going to be the skylight drop. User still holding on to that for now, but they lack a bit of information to actually fully commit to that. Don't exactly know where these players are going to be, and thus the drone pushes in. A new hatch drop comes through as well, and they hope to find out about at least one more player. And that might be Mowgli. He's about to go for the swing. Doesn't take any damage. Stays alive, takes his pixel shield. Falls back to a bit more of a secure position.
Yeah, he's still tucked in here with a lot of support structure for himself. You can see, as I said, MNM, they kind of came in with the plan A. Things fell apart a bit, and now it's turned into a 3 versus 3 brawl. But with the structure of that hold of Pixel and of these parts still put together, it becomes a little bit risky and looking for a rewardy here from the side of MNM. They've tucked onto the swing of the first. Users gets a second grenade. There's the jump out. Didn't get caught by the Claymore, but they know where Bibu is, so they can just do this. They have all the time in the world to get this plant put together. There's the repel back out towards the top as well. Why not? If you're being threatened to so much space, then take the space that's available. Nello, he's going to go for the rotate as well. Safe. Look what's in his pocket. All of his bolts. And this, I mean, I'm not going to say it's an impossible situation, but it's pretty much along that line here. Bibu knows it as well.
All he can do here is just try and go for a defuse, right? There's nothing else he could have done at that point. As soon as he jumped out, the round was basically already sealed. Because you can get that plan down, you can get back up on the roof without Bibu even being able to challenge that. So, well done by MNM there. They managed to continue skirmishing through. Find themselves with that 4th round in charge by 2. Headed over to the defense themselves. And this is where they need to hit the ground running as well. Because if they let Wolves get back in now, we know how Wolves can be under attack. They will be able to still turn Kafe around, bring it into their own pockets, and find themselves with a map 1 victory. Now MNM is opting to also not go for Solace round 1. And we have seen Solace in, I believe it was 3 of the rounds played. And, I mean, aside from one flank, which wasn't really even based on the back of that gadget, I haven't really seen the best of impacts yet. So, still hoping to see it from MNM's side as well. Maybe play with a with a buddy. Like, buddy team up. Make sure that you are going to be able to guide your friend on the back of the information you gain.
Everybody loves the buddy system.
I mean, that's kind of how you work with Pulse as well, right? Like, Pulse scouts out, he tells you he's going to be out there, gives the information to his team, and they act on it. It's kind of what makes that information game so strong.
Hey, I'll pose this question to you. I guess it's one that I'm also curious to hear what our desk thinks. What map do you think Solus is going to have potentially the biggest impact on?
I mean, I think that is going to be a map with tons of good hidden spots for drones. I instantly think of Villa. I think of Chalet.
I think of Chalet.
I think of Skyscraper, possibly. Like, if you have good spots where you can hide your drones, Solus is going to be a good counter to take out the first initial pre-placed drones. And because they're also very compact, you can also, like, basically stand in the middle, do a 360, know exactly where everybody's going to be droning from. Ooh. So, with that, some Vulcan canisters spotted out.
360 no drone.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's what we should call our ability, the 360 no drone.
All right, well, Tyrant's under a bit of pressure here. There's a slow and steady reveal of all the players that are set around. Bibu suffers half of the wrong end of a C4 tossed towards the window itself, but nobody's entirely been caught by that as of yet. There's a prep. They cannot quite get the run out underneath. There's the sound of the air jab, which will give that game away. There's Neo's game given away pretty quickly. They knew where they were putting that pressure. Tyrant does find one back, but look at this. The reveal, the pop, the swing, the drop. Mowgli, he had that watched pretty intently from the entire time. They do get control of the top, though. Here, Wolves. They've done it in about 1:30, and they're going to get that last bit of clear. There's one player around White Stairs, Tyrant, who might try and creep his way back around, but otherwise, that was pretty aggressive, but pretty clear from Wolves.
Oh, Tyrant going for a little bit of an outside peek. Takes down Mowgli. It's going to be Yana gone, and another set of grenades. Leaves them with basically nothing left, except for using that skeleton key to start opening up vertically, hoping to find one of 2 of these players before currently out on the IQs to be taking out some of these black eyes. He hopes to do that, but I believe he's hitting the actual beam there, steel beam. Not going to be able to get rid of that completely. That means the information stays up for now. As time slowly ticks down, 50 seconds left on the board. It is Wolves that need to find themselves with an additional opening if they want to have an opportunity of getting that plant down. It's going to be quite hard because the operators left on the board, they are more, you know, utility carrying. They start opening up walls and floors. Not really any of these grenades that, you know, you had on Mowgli, for example, you could have used to try and get rid of one of these players.
30 seconds, and this is starting to turn into a familiar story of both these teams hitting heads. Very quick early aggression that peters out into situations like this. An even-handed 3 versus 3 for the final push onto the site with barely any time. Shinka, he's knocking on the door. Does he know that one's crouched just round? As soon as he goes for anything here on the plant, there it is. The pop, the reveal, the rotate back round. They're both so close, and neither knew. Here's the drop round, the rotate off into the far end. The kit is out of anybody's hands. There's a swing and a great take from P4. A quick response. He's panicking. But he went to hold F, and unfortunately there was too much of MNM there. 5-2. They take their first defense.
I have to say for MNM, I don't know if you spotted it, but when you had Goyo sitting right behind a bookshelf, he was looking up through a vertical. There was a little bit of red from the Vulcan canister up on the top floor. So as soon as Buck started opening right above him, he opens that up. Suddenly, Buck cannot do any pressure onto you anymore. You can stop the plant from happening as that happens because, again, you're no longer under pressure because the direct angle he could use is now on fire. And they managed to find success in the back of it. You hate it when that happens as well. It's not very pleasant. But a tactical timeout called by Wolves as they realize they are 2 rounds away from losing the first map.
Yeah, I mean, it was sort of highlighted as well on the desk. It's always great to have an active mind from the top tier scene because they can sort of give us sneaky little inroads into what's going on without accidentally revealing too much. And one of the ones that I'm super curious to see is how Skyscraper will handle for these two teams. And, you know,
I'm very curious with Skyscraper now as well after what Tristan said.
Yeah, that's entirely it. You know, when Miloš was sort of saying nobody likes attacking, and Tristan goes, well,
we do. We're just not allowed. And I know of another team that likes to.
And, and as soon as somebody from that knowledge sort of says this, you go, okay, I want to see this.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that's not that I don't trust the things that Fresh and say. I do. They're great minds. But
at the same time, though, Tristan is a big meme.
Yeah.
So he might just be trolling everybody.
However, maybe he's become less of a meme since he's
very
got
true.
Two wonderful cats, and it's matured him.
The cats have matured.
The cats have matured him. Either way, the point of the story is it might be a more exciting middle map than what we're used to when seeing Skyscraper listed up, which sometimes turns into a little bit of a slow approach from attackers.
I don't know, you probably know. I don't know if the people at home know. But you can nowadays change the colors of the gadgets.
Yes.
Based on the team color. So a lot of people, what they've done is they've made themselves red and their opponents blue, which means that claymores and other lasers and lights are always going to be showing up as blue when you're dealing with your opponent. It's a bit of a tricky with your mind at the start, but it is easier to spot out compared to the lot of
that would mess me up. I remember when I first saw the Aruni gates as a different color.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Let alone claymores.
Let alone claymores.
That meant, oh, that's going to be great. Instantly picked up, I believe, by an ADS.
Oh, yeah, but look at this. So much pressure. We saw Wolves do the same thing. They go for this very pinched approach on the first player. Okay. Tyrant is just tucked in safety. It's not the same as the mirror take towards the top floor in the previous round, but it's still just as pointed. Solotov, he's going to see if he can rotate, offer some support, but you have to realize how much of an isolated position that is.
Like actually what they did with the grenade there. Instead of throwing it into VIP, they tossed it into the little hallway next to it. So they knew there was not going to be an ADS on that side because they could see it otherwise from that garage. And managed to find a shield that way without giving the ADS a chance of actually taking out that nade. So I like that little bit of an adaptation we saw from Wolves there. Instead of, you know, just continue throwing grenades at the problem, hoping one would finally stick. Just find a different way to deploy it. Nello! Free kill onto Mowgli. Just drops in from the skylight. No drone at it. That's a free kill for MNM. And after Wolves, you know, commending them for doing such a great thing and taking care of that shield and, you know, releasing some of that pressure, they instantly lose an entry, find themselves under a bunch of more pressure.
Yeah, waiting for the swing now, but I mean, time is on Nello's side here. He can sort of sit and wait it out for as long as he wants to. The drone's going to roll up. It almost slipped by him undetected, but look at this, the pressure round on the back end. They've got a player either side. He has to root himself out. He's found a corner. They might not know. Nello, look how much time he's wasting. Pre-fires and finds one, but finally shut down. P4 gets that, the quick response. But it was a quick response after a long delay.
Very sneaky there from Nello, just somehow bypassing the drones and the players for a perfect amount of time. There's only 30 seconds left now. Wolves, they need to execute with a man disadvantage here, and also not really having done any of the prep work they need to do. Tyrant comes in with a shotgun, blasts one away. That's Bibu off the board. P4 from Brownie. Knows one is going to be out there. Shink is going to be stuck in the freezer on the shelf because there's smoke canisters all around. He cannot check his corners as he goes. Still finds the kill onto Solotov though, but a fire pops off, and that is going to be making him even more stuck in his position he was.
Yeah, well, they lost one in amongst the fire. Uses down on the ground. It's a 2 versus nobody. The Echo drone was watching as well throughout the end, and MNM, they win the round off the back of the Wolves timeout. They push themselves with a 4-round difference towards map point onto Kafe. And they've taken 2 of their defenses now, so they have the option to rotate back towards either of 2 places they've already won throughout this without taking this, for a lot of teams, the first pick site. Bar is where we might end it, or we might see the start of a comeback.
That's it. MNM having the opportunity to go for the full rotation here, find the full 3 before the sites start unlocking again, which is going to be their help, right? If they lose this one, okay, you know, then we have a site that we've previously won. That suddenly becomes available to us again. They shouldn't be worrying right now. Wolves, they've just used their timeout. They ran out of time on that last one. They really had to go for a bit of a Hail Mary push in the end. And now Solotov is onto the Solace as well. Spotted out a drone, but knows it's going to be like very far away. So he has to make some decisions here. Finds Mowgli's, and now they're going to be aware of the fact that Solace is on board as well. So the rest of the drones probably going to be moved out of the building as soon as possible to be salvaged and tossed in at a later time. You see it indeed, all of them are going to be outside, not going to be anywhere near vulnerable to Solace. And Wolves will be retrieving them and sending them back on their way. Small peek attempt here from his army. Tyrant.
What are you trying here, Tyrant? What are you trying? Nothing's gifted. Bibu took a safer route through, sees the glass skittering and drifting in the wind from above and pulls himself back. They tried to sort of make an early statement there and it didn't quite work out, but still, to be fair, they've made a lot of statements across these rounds, and Wolves, they're suffering on the wrong end. We saw the first sort of body fall towards an undroned position, which then wasted pretty much another minute at another player getting the clear there. Here, maybe they're doing something a little tighter, a little bit more driven. Solotov, they have the reveal of that, the Claymore outside, the pop and the pressure. Look at just this. What an advert for the operator this is.
Knows exactly he cannot go for a jump out at this time unless he uses one of those impacts that he still has left to get rid of a Claymore. He just stays active below, just stays as a bit of a nuisance, has the opportunity, of course, to provide some vertical support as well, as the windows are going to be approached. The Tyrant is using his army to restructure Piano. It's Nello that's giving away the information here of Mowgli about to be entering said room, trying to find the entry.
Yeah, that's it. The Valcam's just getting all that intel. They talked about how powerful Solus and Valk can be, and here's a moment. Tyrant slips by. Solotov has Rise, though. There it is from underneath. Just got there in time to get the cover and maybe save the player's life. Took one in the meantime. Bibu's going to utilize this as the call to sort of push up, gets the head of Solotov back before they can get the rotate back round to site. Took care of a big problem player and a big problem operator for them. Can they try and find a drive behind it, though? That has been the part that's really seemed out of reach for Wolves this game.
They need to find it, but at least they are very close to the side. They're basically knocking on the front door here. The Siren is ready to go for the next engagement. Deals a little bit of damage to Bibu, but he stays alive for now. That's most important, but a C4 toss through will take care of Shinka instead. And that's again a man down for Wolves here as they need and are eyeing up for the execute. It's Mowgli that needs to be basically retrieving that kit and also start making that opening for the remainder of Wolves.
Well, there's the opening. People almost finds the second in a similar spot, but they seem to have some awareness here. But Mowgli, I was going to say he got himself tucked in. Neo isn't going to fall for that surprise trick. There's Tyrant with a swing round. P4, all that's left, takes the blind man on the back end. 30 seconds. There's one on white, and the other's pulled himself back towards the corridor. They know where the kit is. They know that it's being watched as well. P4, he's bought himself a second of sanctity and silence. They've got a cross peek towards a single position. They've got the kit back, and where are you going to stick it, P4? 15 seconds. It's being watched with a bit of the drone cover. There's the movement. There's the swing round. They're cautious. There's the pop back up. The fight is Usis, and the game and the map is going to be for MNM.
MNM, they find the first, and after a 7-2 loss in stage 3, they take this one 7-2 themselves against the Wolves that have literally gotten that revenge story, but it's not going to be completely over yet because there's still another map they need to win to advance to the finals of the European League.
And that's it. That's obviously the sort of meat of this, is that sometimes across the season it matters how you play on the important days. This MNM, it's been so good. It's been strict. It's been disciplined when it needs to be. It's been aggressive. And Wolves, they've seemed like they need a little bit of a moment to sort of put their heads together and say, okay, we got to sort this out. Talking of sorting things out.
What are we sorting out?
Let's go to a quick break before we find out what's been sorted out on the desk.